Now joined by head coach Stephen O'Donnell to preview Sunday's Extra.ie Fai Cup Final against Bohemians. Stephen, how are you?
Yeah, good form, Jamie. How are you?
Yeah, great, thanks. Not too bad. Can't wait for Sunday, and it looks like it might be the biggest crowd ever at an Aviva final, which will be brilliant. You've got great experience yourself, Stephen, of the Fai Cup. You've won 3 as a player, 1 with Bohemians and 2 with Dundalk, and lost some finals as well. So what comes to mind for you if I ask you to describe Fai Cup final day?
Yeah, just memories and moments more so than probably the medals. Just suppose great occasions, playing obviously at the National Stadium, and as you said, I've experienced both sides of it, but still take memories from each game. So just really enjoyable occasions, I suppose. Massive sort of on our domestic calendar, the biggest day of the year, and as I said, playing in a lovely arena and in front of a big crowd, it's great for the adrenaline, and you'll always remember different sort of moments and scenarios, and you'll have memories from each and every one of those finals. But in the full package, it's great memories to have, and I'm delighted that the boys have those opportunity to make those memories and remember special moments on Sunday.
Yeah, we put up a post on social media today to invite fans to submit their questions. So there's a few I'll just drop in and out as we go along. One of them is simple enough. What's your favourite Fai Cup memory as a player?
Favourite Fai Cup memory as a player was probably in 15. I think we were playing Cork, and the game went to extra time, and I sort of tweaked my groin during the game, so I was hobbling around on one leg, and then Richie Towell got the winner in extra time. Just we were after winning the league, and then just going on to complete the double was a great memory of really capping the season off, grand finale, and obviously the game being so tight, going to extra time and coming out the right side of it. So probably that one. But as I said, in each and every one of them, I have good memories, and I think went to 2 penalty shootouts, extra time twice. So 2 penalty in five FAI Cups, went to 2 penalty shootouts, and 2 won one after extra time and lost 1 after extra time. So 4 of the 5 went right down to the wire.
And since you've transitioned from player to coach, I'm sure your favourite memory as a coach will come from this season. The run to the final saw victories over Bray Wanderers, Cork City on penalties, and Wexford before the semi-final win against Dundalk. So does anything spring to mind from the run this year? That semi at Dundalk at a sold-out Richmond, and some of the goals we scored will.
Yeah, and I suppose that would be the highlight. But before, we had a real tough game in Cork down there, winning on penalties. We thought we had won, and then we scored obviously in the last minute. Chris scored a penalty, and then to concede basically from tip off in the last kick of the game to go to extra time. So there's fine margins in football. Obviously Veet was very good in the penalty shootout, and then we took very good penalties. And then I suppose going a man down so early in the quarterfinals to Wexford at Richmond made it a bit tricky, but we showed good resolve going 1-0 up in that against 10 men, or with 10 men. And then obviously Wexford got a man sent off, and we won the game quite comfortably. And then obviously the highlight probably being Dundalk going ahead in the game, getting paid back just before half time, and then 2 brilliant goals in the second half to go and win it and book our place in the final. So different memories from different games. So that's the sort of the journey of a cup run. It swings and roundabouts, ups and downs, but doesn't matter how you get there so long as you're there. So we're really looking forward to Sunday, and as I said, I'm delighted for the players that they'll have a stage to go and play on, because they deserve it from all their hard work since basically January.
Yeah, we're speaking on Tuesday evening, so still, almost a full week of prep to go. But how do you feel your own experience of being involved in so many finals will help you prepare the team and the lads for Sunday?
Yeah, obviously you've been involved in 5, but it's totally different the other side of the fence. As a player, you just have to rock up for training and make sure you're there at the hotel and make sure you're there for the match. There's a lot more planning got to do with being on the coaching side of it. So I'm really relishing and looking forward to it. It's just about striking the right balance of, letting the players sort of enjoy the build up, and also, always as well in the back of your head, or in the forefront of our mind, it's just a normal game. It's just another game, and the fundamentals and the principles that we play with don't change. So there's not going to be a big onus on the results, but there'll be a big onus in regards to what we bring to the table, in regards our work rate and our honesty, and embracing the occasion. But as regard the result, that will take care of itself. If you do the other things right, you just have to give yourself the best opportunity.
in terms of how you feel yourself on big game days, whether it be the semi-final, the big league games, the final on Sunday, how do you feel yourself, and has the feeling changed from being involved in them as a player to now being involved in them as a head coach?
Yeah, like you definitely brings more responsibility being a coach, without a shadow of a doubt. You've got your own little patch as a player to look forward to, or to look after. As a coach, there definitely brings a lot of responsibility in that regard. You're sort of looking after a whole group of people. In regards to the magnitude of each game or that, I think I approach most games pretty much in the same way. As I said, the key for us is getting a performance in regards what we bring to the table, in regards stuff we can't control, the work rate, our honesty of effort, our application. And then once our players do that and we all do that, I'm pretty much, I accept the rest, because on any given day, could be moments, it's fine margins, it could be anything once the game starts. But once we really bring an intensity and an effort and an application to it, that's all I can ask of the players, and I'm sure we will.
The league season overall, Stephen, the club's highest league finish since winning the competition in 2013. Some brilliant performances and brilliant moments from the players, and I'm sure you're quite confident and hopeful that they can continue that momentum into Sunday. Yeah,
exactly. Throughout the season, we've never put any pressure on them getting a result. We've never said we have to win this game, or this is a must-win game, or a must-not-lose game. And we just approach each game the same way, irrespective of the result. We've lost games where I've been happy with the performance and happy with the way we've gone about things, and we've won games where I felt we could have gone about things better. So I'm more so in regards to controllables and what we can do rather than the outcome. So it's going to be the same way. There's going to be no added pressure on Sunday in regards asking players to do anything different than they're used to and then what they're good at. So in that regard, it's just go and express yourselves, play with freedom, but also play within the structure of the team. So I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to watching our lads. Be proud of watching our lads in regards walking out in the Aviva. And as I said, I just want them to go and embrace it and grab the opportunity of playing in front of a great crowd. And as regards pressure, etc., there'll be no extra added pressure put on the boys.
Yeah, I mean, I've been lucky enough to be at all of the games, and even when I was behind closed doors, and I've just so enjoyed all aspects of the team. We saw last week Vidislav Yaros named the player of the season. He's had such a great season, and the defensive side of the team has been so strong. And then at the other end, the goals spread across the group. So many brilliant goals from all different areas of the pitch as well. It's been, a real joy to watch, and you'll be hopeful that the lads again can use both of those ends and use all those combinations to good effect on Sunday. And it's they have had a really, really great number of performances.
Yeah, great bunch of players. It's not often you'd say it. Usually when you have a squad of players, that there's a couple of lads that you might have doubts about in regards to their application or their attitude or what they're like in the group. But I can honestly say I don't have any worries in that regard throughout the season. I didn't have any worries. I didn't have one individual where I said I'm not sure about him in regards to character. All great boys, and all applied themselves really well, trained really well. So I'm delighted that they're getting the rewards now of playing in a cup final. So for some, we've had players that have won cup finals, have great experience, and then we have other boys that haven't played one or experienced one. So delighted for them to go and experience it. But at different stages of the season, we've had all individuals playing in a great vein of form and a good rhythm. And what's probably unique about the squad is all of them, most of them, if not all of them, have had a good run of games throughout the season. Usually you might have a squad and there's 13 or 14 core boys that play most weeks, and then the rest are kind of isolated a little bit. But we have a squad of players, smaller squad of players, but everyone has played a massive part and has had a good run in the team at one stage or another.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll have some sleepless nights between now and Sunday on deciding on the team, apart from John Mountney, who'll unfortunately miss out with his knee injury, and I'm sure he's been a key man around the group this week, as he will be. And in the last few weeks, you've been able to make 5-6 changes to every league game. Everybody's got minutes, everybody's played, and you've got a very tough job yourself and Alan to pick the 11 and the subs bench, of course, as well, to actually take the field on Sunday.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I suppose they're the problems you want. No, it is. Obviously, you can only play 11. I've been on both sides of the fence in regards to cup finals, not as a player, not starting, coming on, starting. So I understand both sides of it. Ultimately, we can only pick 11 players, but when you go back through cup finals and big games, the bench has had such a massive impact in those type of games. So it's not a case if you're not starting, that's it. It's all out the window. Or a lot of the cases in big games, the bench has a huge impact and can be the difference maker. So Sunday will be no different. What it does give us, obviously, John's probably the only absentee, with a long-term injury, but everyone else is fit and raring to go. So that's going to leave us with a strong starting 11 and a really strong bench if and when we need to change things.
Yeah, 4 meetings with Bohemians this season in the league, Stephen. 2 wins for St. Pat's, a win for Bows when we were down to 9 men at Dalymount, and that thrilling 2-2 draw, certainly from the commentary box just a couple of weeks ago at Richmond as well. So what's your assessment of the challenge that they'll bring, and does the fact that they finished 5th and need to win to get Europe change any sort of the dynamic of the game at all?
They'll, Bows have some very good individuals. I think they're the top scorers in the league, so they carry a lot of attack and threat. As you said, our 4 games. The first game was tight, 1-0 win for us in Dalymount. Second game was a little bit controversial in regards to 2 penalties really laid on. We got the win at Richmond. Third game, as you said, we're down to 9 men. We lost 3-2, and then just a couple of weeks ago, the 4th game, 2 each, real end-to-end game. So in the 4 games have all been very tight. Not so much in regards to the actual games being tight, but score lines have been tight, whereas the games have been expansive and really open and entertaining. So a lot of good individuals on both sides. It's a lot of good technical footballers. So on a good big pitch, that should lend itself to being a very good game on Sunday. So again, we're really looking forward to it. We know we're going to have to be at our best to win the game or to win the cup. So Bows carry a potent threat. As I said, there's some very good players, and it's a challenge we're really looking forward to.
And Stephen, lastly, just on the attendance and the role that the St. Pat supporters will hopefully play on Sunday. It's over 30,000 tickets sold as we chat on Tuesday. That will definitely grow between now and Sunday as well. The first final at the Aviva was Sligo and Shells in 2011. I think 36,000 were at that. And you were involved in a couple of big attendances as well against Cork in 2018, over 30,000. And the one before COVID in 2019, Rovers and Dock had 33 or just over 33 as well. So it should be great for the players to play in front of that. I know a lot of their friends and family will come from all corners of the globe to watch them as well, and hopefully make that difference and roar the lads on to victory.
Yeah, exactly. It should be brilliant. As you said, over 30,000 sold. So, hopefully that number will grow a little bit between now and Sunday. So, as I said, it's a great arena to play in, great environment to play in, great crowd to play in front of. First all Dublin affair, I think, in 21 years. So, which is hard to believe with all the strong Dublin clubs. So, there's a lot of ingredients to make it a really special day. And as I said, one we're really looking forward to. And we're going to enjoy the build-up because we worked hard to get here. So you got to enjoy it when you're here in regards to build-up to lead into the week. And I just want my players to go and express themselves and enjoy it on Sunday. So I'm sure they will. And, it's a week we're all really enjoying and we're embracing it.
Great stuff. Well, Stephen, thanks for your time as always today and across the season. You've been fantastic with your time and the access that you've given us. So enjoy the week. We'll see you on Sunday, and the very best of luck to you and the lads.
Lovely. Thanks a million, Jamie. Thank you.
Christy Fagan, how are you?
Good, Jamie. All good. Thanks. And yourself?
Yeah, great. Not too bad. Thanks for jumping on. What comes to mind for you if I ask you about Fai Cup Final week? Because the lads are getting ready for a big one on Sunday against one of your other old teams, Bows.
I suppose, look, for myself personally, just good memories of it. The week building up to it, and I suppose throughout the season, you always had that excitement and that buzz because I suppose you know yourself more than anyone, the League of Ireland sort of community is small enough, and Pats is a fairly small and tight club, so you'd be constantly bumping into maybe people at the ground or fans and stuff, and you just get that sense of buzz and the build up to the games, and everybody's really looking forward to things. So good memories for me, yeah.
How are you feeling in both 2012 and 2014 in like the week? We're chatting on Thursday morning, so it's a couple of days to the Sunday, but how are you feeling yourself, and how do you think the lads will all be feeling now?
I think they'll be buzzing. I think they'll just want Sunday to be here already, really, and just get going, get to the Aviva and sort of get the preparation underway. I'm sure training will be kept sort of fairly low key, but fairly upbeat, and everybody will be sort of enjoying themselves this week and just getting ready for the game. But I think for me, I suppose 2012 and 2014, we would have been similar in terms of sort of how Liam would have prepared us, and everybody would have been just sort of keeping themselves fresh and ready for the game. But you would have just had that excitement and that sort of buzz, and we obviously would have known about, I suppose, how much it meant to everybody, to try and get over the line and get the cup in the bag after such a long wait. So, I suppose that all added to the build up for us.
Yeah, 2012 first of all, and we won't focus on that too much because it ended up in a 3-2 defeat after extra time against Derry. You scored in that game. What do you remember about it?
Just being good. Just, you get so close. Cup final. I think, look, you're playing football from a young age. Look, finals aren't about losing. It doesn't matter how you win them. It's just get the job done on the day and lift the trophy. So, I suppose the biggest memory is just being absolutely good. But obviously it kind of fed into how we approached, I suppose, the 2013 and 2014 seasons and the sort of hunger we had just to get back there.
Yeah, we'll chat more about the league in 13 in a moment, but just to stick with the cup and move to 2014, and social media has been full this week with pictures and videos and stuff of that day and your goals and the celebrations after and all that sort of stuff. The second one particularly, if I ask you to describe the feeling, the mistake that led to you getting the ball, the age it took maybe to go over the line and then run into those St. Pat's fans and just go mad.
Yeah, look, if to try and remember it, I think the game was probably just closing out really, and we were trying to just obviously keep the ball up their end of the pitch really, and I think Jared Doherty might have pinged a kick out and Sean just headed it straight back down the park, and I think I was actually offside. I think at that stage my legs had probably gone, and I just kind of let the ball bounce and tried to stay, I suppose, out of the way and not get called offside. But I'm not even sure the defender now at the time, but probably his legs were probably gone a bit at that stage too, with just the adrenaline of the day, and it just sort of under hit the back pass, and I was lucky enough to get sort of half a yard and try get a leg in that managed to take the ball around Jer. But even as you said, the ball took an age to go in. I think just because I think my legs were probably cramping up as I hit it at that stage as well, and I'd missed a few just before then. So really delighted to see it go in, and I think it kind of just finished off that game perfectly, I think.
Yeah, and once it hits the net and everyone knows it's over, it's live on TV, of course, as well. So when you're watching the footage on the telly, it cuts to all the different, the managers and the fans and you guys on the pitch as well. But what was the moment like on the pitch when you knew it hit the net? Your legs were probably definitely gone at that stage, but you're also at that end of the ground right in front of thousands of Pats fans going absolutely mental.
Yeah, legs were definitely gone at that stage. But yeah, just I suppose it's just unbelievable feeling, I suppose, that you don't get in anything else really, I suppose, and they're what I suppose 10 big days are all about, trying to get it over the line. And I was lucky enough to be able to, I suppose, score a goal and help the team, I suppose, achieve that on the day. But the feeling of just celebrating in front of the fans, obviously, as you said, you kind of just, I don't even really know what I did, to be honest, and you're just buzzing, and then I think just all the lads kind of just managed to find some energy to run 20, 30 yards up the field to celebrate with you. But it's just, yeah, it's an unbelievable feeling.
Yeah, spoke to Ger O'Brien on one of our podcasts and the lead in maybe to the semi-final. It could have actually been at the start of the Cup this year before the Bray match, and he just spoke about what it meant to, like, obviously the players and the staff, but what it meant to just volunteers in the club, supporters, when he's gone back to the Red Cow, like grown adults crying, Brian Kerr in tears on the commentary, like. And, a number of years later now, you probably get to appreciate what those goals actually, and I know you scored them, but the whole team obviously had to play, but just what they did for people and their lives and how it made people feel.
Yeah, it was massive. Like, even like if we just think back to the 2012 final, like I suppose that was the first sort of time we had sort of had that build up where, you would, I suppose, leading up to the game, we'd heard quite a lot about how much it meant to people, and, there's generations of fans who would not experience Pats winning a cup and stuff like that. So, and there was a lot of talk, I think, at the time as well about it maybe adding extra pressure to the team and being, sort of a burden on the lads. But I don't think it ever was. I think it was, we were definitely aware of it, going in 2012 and 2014, but I don't think it was ever, I suppose, a burden or an extra weight on lads' shoulders. I think if anything, it just sort of gave us that connection, I suppose, to the fans and to the Pats community, and just sort of, we really wanted to kind of get it over the line and win the cup, like for everybody that's involved with the club.
Yeah, and for you, like, to know now and to know then that whenever anyone talks about the 2014 FAI Cup Final, you're the first person that they think about, has to be a nice memory.
Yeah, look, I'm grateful to be involved, and I suppose, as I said, I did the easy part, what I was on the pitch to try and do, which was just tap the ball into the net. There was nothing spectacular about it, really. I was just lucky to be involved with, like, if you go through some of the players in that squad, both years, like, unbelievable squads we had that Liam put together. So yeah, look, my name will be mentioned just because of the goals, but I mean, this team of players we had, the quality from front to back was different class, like.
Yeah, I won't ask you to remember the starting team, but I have it in front of me, and it's important to mention the other players, and of course Liam Buckley, the manager, as well. But like Brendan Clark, Ger O'Brien, the captain, you mentioned Sean Hoare involved in one of the goals, Kenny Brown, Ian Birmingham, who's getting ready for another final, still playing away, a midfield, Keith Fahey, Greg Bulger, Killian Brennan, and then King Conan Byrne, Chris Forrester getting ready for another one, and yourself, and then the couple of subs that came on, Lorcan Fitzgerald, James Chambers, Conor McCormick as well. Like, from a striker's point of view, to have players like that assisting you across your few years at the club, you said it's you that scored the goals, but those lads a lot of the times were putting them on a plate for you.
Yeah, more often than not. I mean, I joke now, but I think you'll struggle to really find me scoring, a Chris Forrester wonder strike or a 40-yard ping from outside the box. More often than not, I was tapping in from 2 yards, and that's just because of, I suppose, the quality I had around me. You had Conan Bourne, I suppose, firing balls in every game, and then you had the likes of Killian Brennan, Keith Fahey, Greg Bulger behind, Forrester on the left that year. But as you said, coming off the bench, then there was quality. There was Chambers, there was obviously Mark Quigley was involved that year, if I'm right in saying that as well. You had Darryl Kavanagh and stuff like. So it's credit to Liam, I suppose, as well, in terms of the quality he was able to assemble and put together, and that really sort of helped the team go on to have success.
So you got 2 in that final overall, and thanks to John Owens for these stats. 93 goals, Christy, in 229 games for the club, 64 of those and 175 in the league. What goals come to mind, stand out, if you think back about big St. Pat's goals that you scored, apart from obviously that final?
I'm not sure. That's a hard one, Jamie. It's obviously the cup final goals are the easy ones to go to, just because of the trophy at the end and what it meant to the club and to the fans and stuff. But I think aside from that, I suppose the European goals, you have to kind of look at and think, I really enjoyed those occasions, and then the goals are obviously a bonus on top of that. But I think European nights were massive, and like Richmond was always a good place to play on those nights, because we always got a decent crowd, and I think we always kind of, over those couple of years anyway, we kind of did quite well. Never obviously reached group stages or anything like that, but I think we managed to sort of get a couple of decent nights in that I think fans and players who were involved can appreciate when they look back on. Yeah,
6 European goals. You're the all-time club's top scorer in Europe as well, and I think it was 4 in the 2012 season, almost in a row, and then you had a couple later, of course, and you played in the big games, the likes of the Hanover game and Legia scoring against Legia and stuff as well. Like, they're moments that you look back on, I'm sure, with so much pride and happiness, and that when you're getting older and you're telling your kids, your grandkids, other people, if they're asking you about your football career, you can point to those moments, those goals, those places that you played in.
Yeah, very lucky. I suppose in the time I was at the club, that, as I said, the European nights we had, we got to, on a couple of occasions, get through 1 or 2 rounds and play in some of these, big venues across Europe, and the likes of Legia and Hanover that you mentioned, like really, really good occasions. And then, the goal, and I suppose in Legia was, again, getting another tap in, but another brilliant team move, and just the build up in the middle of the park and the ball, I think, by Keith Fahey. And stuff to set it up. But obviously the build up to that earlier in that day and everything that happened, that's obviously I suppose a special occasion as well, you know.
And you scored a brilliant goal in 2016 as well in Belarus, if I remember. I was actually at that game.
Dynamo Minsk.
And you were talking about, maybe scoring some goals in the box. That certainly wasn't one in the box.
But that's probably the only one you'll find, Jamie. There definitely wasn't too many of those. But yeah, that was, I suppose, another European goal I'd be proud of. And another trip, you know, that when you look back on, you fond memories of. But yeah, another one to be happy with that's in the collection.
Yeah, Jer spoke to Christy O'Neill during the lockdown in one of our podcasts, and they were talking about some of the mad places they were, Kazakhstan, and the food and all the places, because I think Christy's been probably on every St. Patrick's European trip in the history of European trips. Where was your favourite? Where do you remember as being a nice place, a weird place, a strange place?
Do you know where? I was actually quite lucky in terms of trips. Like, I think the furthest we had, and somebody like Jer might correct me here now, was probably Shiroki in Bosnia. And it was just, the travel itself was just a bit of a nightmare. But I suppose the place and stuff was fine, and we managed to do okay in terms of the game. I think we came out with a 1-1 draw over there, maybe. But no, other than that, I've been fairly lucky. Like, I didn't have any of the Azerbaijan trips or anything like that. So I've been lucky enough to dodge those. And
we'll say the team of cups, 2015 and 2016 EA Sports Cups as well. The 15 one went to penalties. Conor O'Malley, the hero in Galway, I think if I remember correctly, you scored in that shootout, and then 2016 you scored in the final as well. So even though, you know, the EA Sports Cup wouldn't be the main cup you'd be going for, it was nice in those couple of seasons, having done the league in 13, the FAI Cup in 14, to win those two and be in the goals in both of those finals.
Yeah, definitely. I suppose it's one thing you'd be proud of, and I think any of the lads who were part of those squads, you still chat to a lot now. You know, you look back, you do have to appreciate, I suppose we had a really successful period during those couple of years for the club with, as you said, the league, the FAI Cup and stuff, and a couple of league cups, and yeah, really, really good memories and good times.
The league in 2013, we've spoken about it with nearly every guest that we've had, particularly in the lockdown. We did loads of pieces with the likes of Conan and Killian and Brendan Clark and others. Like the Sligo game and the Greg Bulger goal and Richmond and all of that stuff is just like iconic memories.
Yeah.
You had a fight that year as well for your place at times with Anto Flood, and at times you played together, and there was a real, you spoke about some of the other players in the group as well. What do you remember about that season and I suppose the battle to be in the team, and then some of the maybe important goals you scored that ultimately helped the club to the league?
Yeah, so yeah, as you said, myself and Bisto, yeah, we're kind of going toe to toe really that year, and kind of 1 week I'd be in, 1 week he'd be in. But I think it was really beneficial for the team itself, I think, because we went on to win the league. But it was a really healthy competition. Like, myself and Bisto would get on really well, so there would never have been any sort of thrown in the towel or anything from either of us, and we both kind of just pushed each other on, I think, throughout the season, and I'd like to think he'd say the same. But I just think it worked really well, I think, and Liam, to his credit as well, he probably managed it well, and that sort of picking who to play for which occasion and against which sort of defence or opposition we're coming up against. And I just think we both kind of knew our roles in the team, although we both probably would have wanted to play with each other or both play every week ourselves, but we both sort of knew we were contributing, I suppose, to the team, and kind of just kept our heads down and kept pushing each other on.
Yeah, because I remember across the time I've known Liam as well, I can't ever remember him starting the game with two strikers. It was always the 4-3-3 with the number 6, the Greg Bulger or the James Chambers or the Jamie Lennon in the middle, and then the two number 8s and the wingers. He always spoke about crosses and getting the crosses in, but it was only ever one striker. So when you and Bisto were fighting each other for the place, and I mean that in a nice way, there was only really room for one of you.
Yeah, that's it. As you said, like, Liam was fairly set in how he wanted to play, and I suppose we worked on it that much, and everybody knew their roles in that system. So yeah, me and Bisto knew, and we would have been well aware that, look, it's only going to be one of us on a Friday night, or whenever it is, a Tuesday night, whenever the game might be. That was fine. We kind of just both got on with it, and as I said, I don't remember at any stage through that season where either one of us kind of let the heads go or kind of, you know, threw the towel in. I think we both kind of just drove each other on, and it was, as I said, good, healthy competition that kind of helped the team.
And Christy, coming towards the end, then you got an awful injury in Alsa training, which ultimately, you know, led to you having to eventually retire. And we'll talk in a moment about what you're doing now. You're working as a physio, and you've gone on with the next stage of your life after football. But I haven't heard you talk about what happened and ultimately ended up having to stop a lot earlier than maybe you would have wanted.
Yeah, so it was just a freak accident, freak injury, really. As I said, it was in the Alps. I think it was a bank holiday, Monday training session, fairly low key, and just, I think we were doing maybe a shooting drill or a 2v2 drill or something like that, and just went to take a shot, planted my right leg, and the tendon, my patella tendon, just ruptured. So pretty painful, to say the least. But yeah, it was just unfortunate, and it was one of those things. Look, I've been lucky enough for, I suppose, the best part of 15 years to avoid any sort of serious injuries where, I know plenty of lads who've done ACLs multiple times and all this sort of stuff and fractures. I'd had nothing really other than, you know, your small niggles that might keep you out for a couple of weeks here and there. But that was the first one, and that was the last one, really. Yeah,
like you're 32 now, and this would have been 2018, wouldn't it? So like you were 28 probably at the time, like very, very young to have to stop, and I'm sure that was so difficult for you because, as you said, it was just a freak accident. You know, you've done those exercises in training thousands of times probably, and you know, nothing ever went wrong.
Yeah, exactly as you said. Yeah, look, I mean, you go into a training session, you ping a ball around a couple of hundred times a session, you know, and nothing ever happens. And that's essentially what I did. I planted the foot to take a shot on goal, and I suppose the knee just gave way. But I'm sure there was obviously underlying stuff building up to that over a number of years, maybe, and that sort of led to that point. And I probably just neglected and kind of, you know, played on and didn't maybe manage as best I could. Who knows? But yeah, at 28, look, it's not ideal. But look, you just get on with it and do. I was lucky enough, as you said. I was doing other bits that sort of occupied me, and sort of, I suppose, the difficulty a lot of lads might have is that when you finish up and you just kind of go, where do I go now, or what am I doing? What's sort of filling my time? I was lucky enough, I kind of had something to fill that time and kind of occupy me, and I suppose I didn't have, although you miss it, I didn't have that sort of couple of months of searching for something to do.
So what did you find to do?
Yeah, so obviously before I'd got injured, I'd already been a couple of years down the line of my physiotherapy degree. So look, when the injury happened, I just kind of obviously was rehabbing. I rehabbed for probably about 15 months. But obviously alongside that, then I was probably full on in the books and put the head down and just kind of got over the line and got my degree sorted and stuff, and then just joined the real world, I suppose.
So you're working full time now as a physio, and we actually had the pleasure of having Christy with us with the 19s for the UEFA Youth League. Last month, was it October?
Yeah, I think it was
in Serbia, in Belgrade.
Yeah.
And how was it being in the Pats tracksuit as a staff member as opposed to in the Pats gear on the pitch? Was that strange?
Yeah, look, it was very strange. Even I was joking with Jared, and I know Jared's been around the club and working for a long time, but the first leg, I suppose, was my first time really being back in that dressing room. So, yeah, strange but good. Like you're dealing with, I suppose, really talented 19-year-olds, a group of kids that are pushing now to get into that first team. So they're a good group, obviously, to be around, and obviously the staff, Shawnee and Jerry, yourself, that was on the trip, and Noel and stuff were great help to me to come in, and yeah, it was a week I really enjoyed.
And like, just to see the next crop, I know there are a few generations behind you, and you know they've had such a really good season as well, and I know you're working with Maynooth University as well, like to be able to help the next ones now in your new role, and I know you have your own practice as well, but from the football sense, being around it and still being in touch with the game, and seeing, I suppose, on the cold face about how good the younger ones are coming through and stuff. That's nice to be able to, even though you're working at it, to be able to be involved still and to give back, and hopefully you'll continue to do that because you've got a long career ahead of you in the medical profession, hopefully.
Yeah, it is. It's actually it's really, really nice, really enjoyable. I suppose for the first little while, I probably didn't get involved in sports in sort of any capacity, and it's only probably the last 12 months that I've kind of, I suppose, got back in and helped out with, different clubs and stuff. And as you said, my new university. But it's great. I actually really enjoy. Obviously, I'm on the other side of the dressing room now. I'm a staff member, but having chats with young lads who sort of have ambitions and are working hard to kind of make that step up. And I suppose it's nice to be there to be part of that journey. And I suppose if there's any sort of advice I can pass on, I suppose I'm always happy to do so.
Yeah, it was certainly great to see Christy working so close with the 19s away, and then being able to actually talk to you. I remember you were doing some strappings before the game in Serbia. I think it was with Adam Murphy or whatever, and you were just having a chat away. But the kids themselves probably aren't aware of your full career when you went to United so young, and you a little bit of time in England and Scotland, Spain before coming back and scoring all the goals for Pat. So to be able to, and they say a physio and a patient have some sort of a special relationship when you're working with them, that I'm sure you can impart your wisdom and knowledge to the attackers anyway. Yeah,
that's, like as you said, that couple of hours before the games away in Europe, you're locked away in hotel rooms and stuff, and I've been there as players. You're heading to the physio to try get yourself ready, strappings or ropes, whatever it might be, bits and pieces, scissors, whatever it might be. But it's generally it's a decent place for the chat, and I suppose those couple of days away, look, as I said, they're a good group of lads that within that 19 squad, and it was good to kind of catch up and listen, answer as many questions as I could, and trying to and just be as honest and chat away to the lads and just listen to, I suppose, to their experiences and their ambitions and what they're trying to do.
Lastly, Christy, just to bring things back to now on the final, two of your former clubs, Bows and Pats, what do you think ahead of it? I'm sure I know you're working full time, but I'm sure you've been keeping an eye on results and maybe seeing some highlights and getting to some games. So it's a biggie for both. The first Dublin Derby final in 20 plus years. The last one was back in 2000.
Right, yeah. No, I'm really looking forward to it, Jamie. I think it's going to be a great game. By all accounts, looking at the last fixture between the two, which was quite open and quite an exciting game. I think hopefully the final plays out the same way. But look, you'll be hoping for a Pats win, of course, and I'll be there Sunday, obviously, to support the lads and hopefully see them lift the cup again.
Great stuff. Christy Fagan, thanks a million for jumping on. Fascinating insight into your time as a Super Saint. Best of luck with the new career, and thanks for all the goals and memories, and we'll see you at the Aviva on Sunday.
Cheers, Jamie. Thanks.
So, Jamie, FAI Cup Final, what's your thoughts ahead of it?
Yeah, obviously really looking forward to the game. It's a big opportunity for a lot of us lads who haven't been in this position before, but we've got a lot in the group as well who've been here and have won it, so that experience will count for us once it gets to the day and the weekend of the cup. But yeah, overall it's just excitement. It's kind of slowly just coming in now. I think it's been like a month since the semi-final, so it's kind of just waiting around for that game now, and we're all really looking forward to it. It should be a great day for all of us, our families and everything.
What's your expectations of what today might be like, the whole occasion, the experience, the game?
Well, just from talking to lads who have been there, it's just the day and the weekend in general is just brilliant, and even the night before, just getting ready for the big game, and all your family, I'm sure everyone has family coming from all sorts of places. We'll come and see them maybe for the first time in the Aviva in front of 30,000-40,000, which would be unbelievable, and it's just excitement. It's going to the games myself every year at the end of the season, and you're kind of just wondering if you'll ever be in this position, be able to play in the Aviva, and now that time's come around, and us as players just want to grasp it, and we're just really looking forward to it, just to try and soak it all in. What's
your memories of the finals that you've been to as a League of Ireland player? Like every year, if you're not playing in the final, nearly the whole league is there to watch, so you've been at a lot of the finals over the last few years. What kind of ones stand out?
Yeah, I've said before, it's probably the biggest, most exciting day in Irish football in the calendar year. I've been to nearly every final every year, I'd say, in the Aviva. I remember being a mascot at this Sporting Fingal one in Tallaght against Sligo, and since then I've just gone into the Aviva with lads from the team or with my mates just to watch the game, and yeah, it just always seems like a great game to play in, especially it's not every day you get a chance to play in the National Stadium and going to watch Ireland there and this and that, and you always wonder to yourself if you ever get a chance to do that, and now the time's here. So just excitement really, just learn from other lads in the group who've been there, and they just say to just embrace it and soak it all in. That's what we're going to do.
Yeah, your own Pat, Roos and Patsley, you've well over 100 senior games now. You come through the 19s and had a really good couple of years as well, and it feels as if for the club and for the players involved that it's been building to a big moment like this.
Yeah, I think even since the gaffer's come in, he's changed a lot about the club and everything from the personnel, style of play, culture, and now we're starting to see the rewards of it. No matter what happens at the final, I'm sure everyone will understand that we've had a good season, and will realise that we're a team on the up and we're building something special here. But we just want to end it off with a bit of silverware and have one of them special nights in the Aviva. And look, it's just about enjoying it. But overall, yeah, I probably wouldn't have thought a couple of years ago we'd be in this position, but since he's come in, he's just developed that belief in the players and in the staff, and now that's coming through us, and you can see we're reaping rewards for it now.
Yeah, there hasn't been an all Dublin Derby final for over 20 years as well, and the games against Bohs this season have been really good. There's a good rivalry there as well, and that just probably adds to the interest of it.
Yeah, look, it's going to be a good game. Two good teams going at it. I'm sure Bohs will bring a big crowd. I'm sure we'll bring a big crowd. It could be the biggest in the last number of years. I'm not sure, but there's a lot of excitement building around for the game, even just around where I've run and that. Like, there's a lot of fans from both clubs, and there's a lot of excitement building around it. So Bohs are a good side. They have dangerous players who can produce moments of magic, but so do we. So I'd say from a neutral's perspective, like, if you could get a ticket, you should go to the game, because I reckon it'll be a really good one. And if it's anything like the one in Richmond a couple of weeks back, I'm sure everyone's in for a cracker.
John Mountney, how are you?
All good, Jamie. You?
Great, thanks. Not too bad at all. Not too bad. Now, we're all very excited for Sunday, 4 o'clock against Bohs, and there's probably nobody in the Pat's dressing room more experienced in FAI Cup finals than you. You've been involved in the last 6 with 3 wins and 3 losses with Dundalk, and getting ready for a 7 this Sunday. Now, unfortunately, you miss out through a knee injury, but I'm sure Alan and Stephen and the lads have loved having you around the group this week, adding your expertise.
Yeah, like you said, this is number 7 now. It's the most exciting day on the calendar year for anyone that's in the league, and lucky enough now this is the 7th final. But like you said, watching this one, but looking forward to it. Been in all week watching the lads training, and you can see the lads are really up for it. The tempo of training always goes up the week of a cup final. Everyone wants to play, so yeah, it's one everyone's looking forward to.
How are you feeling yourself injury wise, and what's the latest on the recovery from the knee injury you picked up actually away to Dundalk earlier in the summer?
Yeah, all's good. Everything, ticking boxes all the time. There's been no issues. It's a lot of gym work, and patience is the other one. So the balance between the two of them. But yeah, everything is going well, and look to be back playing by the start of next season.
Great stuff. So to focus on the cup for you, and you've been involved in so many, the last 6 in a row, as you mentioned, what comes to mind if I ask you about FAI Cup final day from a player's perspective?
I think first of all, it's excitement. I think everyone, you're always thinking of the cup final in the back of your mind in the league, whether you're fighting to win a league or you're fighting for to stay in it. It doesn't matter. Everyone that plays in the cup competition really wants to get to the Aviva. It's the most exciting day out for a player, for fans, for friends, for family, for everyone. And I think excitement is the first thing that comes to mind. Once we had a tough journey to get to the cup final, like you always have to do. You have to beat some big teams to get there, and Pats have done that this year. So once we had beaten Dundalk in the semi-final, I suppose the excitement's always there in the back of your head for the big day.
Yeah, everyone always speaks about, looking back at it, and everyone picks a different reason for it being that big and that exciting. For you, what's the best thing about it?
I think playing in the National Stadium has to be the big one in front of a big crowd. You're looking, hopefully this year we'll have 35,000 plus on the day. So that's the best thing about it. As a footballer, you want to play in the best grounds in front of big crowds, and that's where you really get the adrenaline going and feel like a proper footballer. So playing in the National Stadium is the best you can do, really.
Yeah, like the crowd, and it looks like it'll be the biggest FAI Cup attendance ever at the Aviva Stadium. Touch wood. We're chatting on Wednesday evening, so by the time Sunday comes, hopefully it'll continue to push. The last update was 30,000 from the FAI, but a couple of the more recent finals that you were involved in, the Cork one in 2018 had over 30,000. The Shamrock Rovers Dundalk one in 2019 had almost 34,000 as well. From a player's point of view, how different is it when you're going from, say, 5,000 at Richmond in the semi-final, which is full to the brim against Dundalk, to the biggest football stadium in the country that's going to have the biggest crowd that maybe some of the lads will have never played in front of this number before either?
Yeah, of course, like you said, there's a big jump with the attendance and all that, and of course the atmosphere will be more of a buzz than you've had before. Like you said, going from 4 or 5 to to 30 plus, but like that, you don't think about it. And once you get out and you get warmed up, you get comfortable in the environment. Once kickoff goes, you're fully focused on the match. So there should really be no issues with that. But I suppose it's a place where players strive, and like you said, it's new for a lot of lads. But knowing the personalities of the players we have in the dressing room that haven't been there before, they'll feed off that energy, and they'll strive on the day, hopefully.
Yeah, the energy of the fans and the St. Pat's fans have been so brilliant this season with you guys, and even last year as well, when they had to watch from home or wherever they watch the games as well. But like, how does that translate on the pitch? Like if you're playing a fullback or wherever you're playing, you make a big tackle, you play a pass, you make a save, you clear a ball, you score a goal, and that roar that's just louder than any roar you've had all year has to just give you that extra little bit of kick if you need it.
Definitely. Fans have a massive part to play in. And, the atmosphere that's been in Inchicore, for us since we've come back has been brilliant. You can see our home form and, the buzz around the stadium once the match gets going. And, I'll urge all our St. Pat's fans to come out in their numbers, which I know they already are, and really get behind us, because it makes a massive difference on the day. I'm not sure what cup final was it, 2018 with Dundalk, or was it before that? It could have been 17, where, went to extra time. Dundalk played Cork, and I remember Stephen Kenny taking us down at extra time. We were all out on our legs. We were all tired, of course, as you would be, and he brought us down to home fans at the time, and they really got behind us. You could hear them roaring, and that gave us energy, and something to feed off going into extra time. And like I said, it's massive, the fans, and the more noise they make on the day, the more positivity the players will feed off that.
Yeah, I think that was 2017. Eventually went to penalties. Cork won on penalties. But I remember being at that match in the press box.
Didn't work out too good in the end, me saying that. But.
No, but you're right. I remember seeing Stephen bringing you over, and it's something that you see managers all over the world have done before, and it's a special moment, when that happens. On the alternative side, probably more difficult to hear your teammates, to communicate, to hear the manager and stuff as well, which is a challenge that particularly those that haven't maybe played at the Aviva in front of those type of crowds before will have to get used to very quickly.
Yeah, that's the side we have been spoiled with as players since fans have been out, is communication from the sideline to the pitch is constant, and it's easy to get information on. But like you said, different now with a full house, that changes a bit. So that's where your players need to be communicating, and your senior players take control a little bit on the pitch, what they see in that moment. So we have a good mix of that anyway, so that should be no issue.
Yeah, and then, in the group, we've got the head coach, Stephen O'Donnell, being involved in so many finals as a player. You got Alan Matthews, the manager, involved in lots of finals. I think he'd get ready for his 8th as a player and a manager. And then, Chris Forrester and Burma won it with St. Pat's the last time. Robbie Benson's clearly been involved in a lot of the Dundalk ones that you've been in. And then there's some of the younger lads, and there's no need to list them off, but, even people like Lee Desmond, who's, 26, Jamie Lennon, who's 23, who've been with the club for a long time, made lots of appearances. They've never played on this stage at this level as well. So it's really interesting for the ones that haven't been there to go and experience it for the first time. What have they been like this week, and are they extra excited?
I don't think it'll affect them first and foremost, even being that age you're saying, Lee, and that 26, because the two lads are brilliant pros. It won't phase them at all, and they'll enjoy that side of it as well, playing for their club they've played with for so long in such a big occasion. But yeah, of course, like you said, everyone's excited, really. Why wouldn't you be? It's the best game you can be involved in come the end of the season, when everyone's finishing up and, going their off seasons, and you have a cup final to look forward to. So yeah, of course, all the lads are raring to go for it.
Yeah, I should have mentioned Shane Griffin as well. His experience, a cup winner with Cork City, I think would have been involved in a couple of those brilliant Court and Dock games as well. And I know we were chatting off air there. You and him had a great battle in one of the games as well. And for this one, the opposition Bohemians and St. Pat's this season have been 4 very entertaining games. Most recently, the 2-2 at Richmond as well. And there's key battles, key 1v1s all over the pitch, which for people watching the game should be very, very interesting to see how it all unfolds.
Yeah, definitely. Both have, like you said, some very good individuals, and so do we. We were talking about off air before we come on about the cup finals in recent years, and a lot of it was Dundalk, Shamrock Rovers, Dundalk, Cork, and before that, of course, was Derry and Pats, where they last won it in 2014. But this is going to be a great game for the neutrals. Every time we've played, St. Pat's have played Bows this year, it's been a cracker of a game, and like you said, a lot of good 1v1 battles and a lot of talent on display. So this will be a really exciting final, and one everyone should be looking forward to. Yeah,
the first all Dublin final since 2000, year 2000, should I say. Haven't even said the year 2000 in such a long time. You're always saying 2000 and something, so 21 years. And you mentioned the familiarity with the Cork and Dock, and I loved those games and the rivalry that was there between Caulfield and Kenny and so on. And then Shamrock Rovers came along and been involved in the last few as well, and Dundalk have clearly been involved in the last 6. But for it to be 2 new teams this year, 2 Dublin teams with lots of top players on show as well, it feels different. It feels like there's a freshness and a real interest in it, just because it's not the same teams involved in it.
Yeah, exactly. As a neutral, you always want to see I suppose different. People are getting sick of them games, but being as a player, you'd never get sick of playing in it. But of course, it's good for neutrals, to see 2 different clubs in it that haven't been in it in a long time, and 2 very exciting teams that both like to play attacking football, both get the ball on the ground. So like I said, this will lead to a great game for everyone to watch.
Talk me through, John, the players' experience on a cup final day. You've been involved in the last 6. What's it actually like? The hotel the night before, the suits, the travel to the game, walking the pitch, the warm up. Just if you can give us an insight into what that all is like, and the game, of course, itself, which is the most important bit.
I suppose a mix of everything. It's like you said, it's very professional the whole week up to it. As a player, you wear your suits to the final, so it starts off long before that week. When you're getting fitted for your suits. I know it might be a small detail, but you really feel like a footballer then. You stay in the hotel the night before. Like I said, you do your video leading up to it. Have your meeting the night before. So everything's covered really, and then it's just sort of get your sleep in and go and enjoy the day, take it all in. But like that, when you're there, you have a job to get done. You're there to do one thing only, and that's to win. And we'll be going there with that mindset that it's our trophy to take home, and I'm sure Bohemians will be going in with the same attitude that it's theirs. So yeah, it's a really good day as a player to be involved in. The match, like I said, it speaks for itself in the stadium and the fans, and of course that feeling knowing of having won cup final before, it's it really is special. Last year with Dundalk, it was taken away with no fans, so this year, fans back for the winner on the day, which will be special.
The actual trip to the stadium on the bus, and when you see the fans for the first time, the Pats fans in their thousands on the way, the Bows fans also in their thousands on the way, maybe outside the pubs and the hotels around the ground and the restaurants and stuff. And then also, walking out to see the pitch for the first time and that experience of, right, we're here now. Some of our family and friends are in the ground and stuff. Before you get to focus on the game, is that something you can actually take in and, use that maybe as that last little bit in your head to go, right, these people are coming from here, there and everywhere to support us? That has to be a nice moment when you're on the bus or arriving to the ground and knowing that they're there in their thousands literally to cheer you guys on.
Of course, like you said, that's all part of the day. Getting the bus through the city and seeing all the fans, it's that's all part of the build up to it. And some lads like looking out the window, I suppose, and watching it happen. People drunk, falling around, cheering, excited for the day, and then others like to have their earphones in and I suppose be in the zone for the match. But like that, it's all part of the build up, and that's a great part of it. And like you said, then arriving at the stadium and walking on the pitch before you get togged out it's all part and parcel with it, and it's all the build up to the kickoff.
How does it feel then walking out for kickoff, just before the national anthems, when the stadium announcer announces on the teams and you come out to the biggest roar that you've heard as a footballer.
Yeah, that's the best part. Like you said, Jamie, is coming out at the start, because the whole stadium is electric at that moment. But I think you're not thinking past it at that stage. You're fully focused once you come out, and like I said, once you actually take the pitch and kickoff goes, you're not thinking about any of that stuff in your head. You're focused on your individual duties you have to do in the match, and as a team as well. So that soon takes a back seat then once kickoff starts.
And then when the game actually starts, and I appreciate it's a new game and 2 new teams this year as well, but like always towards the end of the season, the build-up has been so big, and there's media days and interviews and photos and people looking for tickets and families and all that sort of stuff as well. But when the game actually starts, then is it easy to flip just into game mode, even though the day is so big? And I know you're a professional footballer, that's your job, but is it easy, difficult to actually flip into, right, we've now got 90 minutes here, try and use what's around us, but at the same time block it out, if that makes sense?
Yeah, it's no different to, like we said, when we played our last game in Richmond, where we had 4,000 or 5,000. It's the exact same. There's an adrenaline and a buzz within yourself when you're coming out and you're hearing the fans and hearing the roar, and that feeds into the energy of the game. But like that, it's like any game, no matter if there's no one or if it's a full house. Once the whistle goes off and kickoff starts, you're fully focused on your duties. So it does sort of blur out a bit once the match gets going.
Lastly, Mounts, what's your thoughts on the game itself, and how will you be watching as a St. Pat squad member who can play? Because there's that lack of control when you've got an injury, unfortunately, and you can't start the game, come on, actually make a physical impact on the pitch, but at the same time, you're just probably cheering the lads on and maybe more nervous watching than you would be if you were playing. Yeah,
exactly, Jamie. That's definitely the hard side to balance out since I've been injured, watching the games. I love watching the lads play, and we've played such good football this year. I've really enjoyed watching us, but that's of course the hard part is when you're in the dressing room and you're listening to the team talks from the gaffer, and you have that adrenaline running through you, and then you're walking out to the stand just to watch. So it can be tough at times, but all I'm there to do is encourage the lads the best I can and enjoy the matches. But like you said, your nerves to be through the roof when you're actually watching, and you can't you're useless, I suppose, in that sense. But it's a game I'm looking forward to, because I've seen how hard the lads have been working recently, and seeing the buzz around it, I'm really looking forward to watching them.
Very lastly, are the suits nice, and did you have any choice in them as a senior pro? Because you're looking very well doing the co-commentary now with us a few weeks ago, so I hope you've been involved in picking nice suits and nice shoes as well, because the shoes at times in the cup final can be fairly controversial.
Yeah, I wish I could pass the compliment there, Jamie, to being looking well on match nights. No, it's look, if I was picking out the suits, we'd be looking a lot sharper. So that's on Alan Matthews. But no, the suits are fine. Like I said, it's a nice touch wearing a suit to the match, but it's about doing the business. We've given PJ plenty of slack about the shoes, but no, like I said, that side of it's not important. It's about showing up on the day and, please God, doing the business.
Great stuff, John Mountney. Thanks a million for your time, and we'll see you on Sunday. The best of luck.
Thanks, Jamie.
Now, continuing our look ahead to Sunday's Extra.ie Fai Cup Final against Bohemians, I'm joined by Dermot Looney from History St. Pat's. Dermot, how are you?
Hi, Jamie. How are you keeping? Very excited now ahead of Sunday.
Yes, of course. Away from your History St. Pat's, you're a big St. Pat's fan. We can see, for those watching this interview on the YouTube channel, a big St. Pat's flag in your front room window. So all systems go, and I'm sure everyone in your house is very excited for 4 o'clock on Sunday.
All the decorations are up early this year, Jamie. It's brilliant. I have the Christmas lights here working, as well as red and white. Good colours for this time of year. And look, we can't wait. This is a brilliant day for fans, isn't it? That we're getting a chance to go. Haven't missed so much football over the last while. So I know there's brilliant excitement there amongst fans. But look, this final has a place in history too.
Absolutely. Now, to start us off, our first topic for discussion is going to be the overall lack of success, I suppose, for the club in the competition. Lots of semi-finals, lots of finals, but just the 3 victories so far. Yeah,
so far, and fingers crossed that the lads can make it 4 on Sunday. But like, Pats have I think this is the 75th year Pats have competed in the final, or sorry, in the FAI Cup, 75 years, and of those 75 years, we've only won it 3 times. Hopefully, getting a chance to win it a 4th time. So that success rate hasn't been brilliant when you consider, we're not England, we're not like the FA Cup in England. The FAI Cup, there's probably only 6, 7, 8 teams who are really in with a chance of winning it every year. And Pats have been very successful, as we know, in the league and in a general sense. But just that FAI Cup success hasn't come easy for us. John Owens, who does the data in the programme and the stats, came up with a great stat that Pats have been in the semi-final 29 times. This is the 29th year that we were in the semi-final. But of those, we've only won 12 and we've lost 17. And in fact, 3 of the 12 have come in the last 4 semi-finals that we've been in that we've won. So the record was even worse than that. So it's not just the final, right? Everyone knows about the Pats voodoo, whatever, for the final, and that we lost so many in a row. We have lost 8 finals, and now, as of the 2014 final, we've won 3. So look, our record in the competition is not brilliant, certainly in terms of getting to finals and even getting past semi-finals. And we're way behind our rivals when it comes to the FAI Cup. The Shamrock Rovers have won 25 of them. Now 10 of them were before Pats entered the league, but that's still 15 in the era that we've been competing in the Cup. Dundalk have won 12, Shells and Bows have won 7 each. So we've a bit of a way to catch up. And look, I think that the team are going to do us proud on Sunday. I've no doubt about that. But our record in the Cup hasn't been great. But those, I suppose that makes it extra special when we do particularly well. And only 2 clubs have lost more finals than us. So Rovers and Shells are the only 2 clubs who've lost more finals than us. So look, I think the 2014 final is a great start in terms of this new era of cup football for the Saints, and it's not been a brilliant happy hunting ground for us, but those wins have been particularly special when we have won it those 3 times, and hopefully a 4th to come.
Yeah, and don't worry, for those watching and listening, we are going to talk in a lot of detail about the big wins as well, and the finals. Donald mentioned 2014 as well, and not Donald Dermot. I was talking to Donald Burkett about something else earlier on, and I suppose, and we didn't really plan to talk about this, but you mentioned the semi-final against Dundalk just a couple of weeks ago as well, and the 3-1 victory, the goals, Dara Byrne's goal voted as goal of the season. Just the scenes afterwards, the crowd. We're going to have a video later this week made by Bernardo Santos of some of the best fan bits from across the season as well. And apart from your link to the club with History St. Pat's, as a supporter, just being there that day and having the place 5,000 packed, the result, the performance, the buzz leading into this, there's over 30,000 tickets sold for what we're talking now. And that just gave us a taste of what Richmond Park St. Pat's big cup nights are all about.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a very special night. And look, I'm following Pats 25 years. As people who listen to this who are following Pats 50 years plus, that will still rank up there as one of their top nights in the ground. To have come back, we were there when we were lucky enough to have 200 in the ground and 500 earlier in the season. But they've been there in a packed Richmond Park for an amazing cup semi-final win. To have done it with such great goals and such great football, such youth in the team, it's really, really special. And there is a great connection and bond between players and supporters. And look, that's something that goes down historically in St. Pat's. It's so important right from our formation, is that special bond between the players and the supporters of the club. And look, every club will claim to have that. But I think it's particularly unique at Pat's. Firstly, it's a very much a family club. It's very much a community club. And then the physical layout of Richmond Park really ties that in. There is a closeness between players and supporters. And that night really felt it. We were right on top. And I think the players responded to the brilliant atmosphere that was there. I had a friend who brought his 11-year-old son to the game as his first ever Pats game, and he absolutely loved it. And now he's looking for Pats gear from Santa. They're going to the Cup Final. Hopefully that kid becomes a Pats fan for life. And I'm sure there were dozens of others, if not hundreds of others, of young kids and teenagers in the ground that night who have now got the love and the addiction, I suppose, for St. Patrick's Athletic.
Yeah, it really was great to see so many young supporters as well. And sometimes, maybe a granddad or a grandmother, a father or son, and then their child there as well. And, Pats has always been described since I've been involved in the club since 2015 as a family club. And, families and families of people will be there on Sunday to support in their St. Pat's colours as well, which will be just lovely to see. And for you being in the stands, I'm unlucky enough, but lucky enough that when you're working for the club in the media side, you're at everything, but you don't get to see it as a fan. So just to be involved in that and around that as well will be special on Sunday, won't it?
Absolutely, and there will be people going on Sunday who've been to every single cup final that Pats have played in. So that's the 12 of them now from 1954 on. And you have to feel for those people who have lasted through some real heartbreak, but also some amazing special moments. So I think Marty Moore, and who many people will know, and Betty, I think they've been to every cup final. I'm sure there are others. And hopefully those people can make it along on Sunday and witness a new piece of history being made.
Yeah, the finals that we lost, and we won't dwell on them too much, 54, 67, 74, 1980, 1996, 2003, 2006, and most recently in 2012 against Derry as well. Any interesting bits that stand out? We're not going to show each one game for game, but anything interesting that stands out for those ones before we talk more happy times about the 3 victories?
Yeah, I think in fairness, all of them are interesting in themselves. I talked to you before on the podcast about the 1954 final, which was our first one against Drumcondra. And the club, instead of paying the players a bonus, as was the case at the time, the club put a bet on for the players. Each player stood to gain £500, which would have bought you a house in the final, but they were beaten, unfortunately, and there was an OG that lost it on that day. The good news, I think, that comes from that, or the kind of nice the nice conclusion to it, is the goalkeeper who the OG went in. It was his brother-in-law who scored, Desi Byrne. But the goalkeeper was Jimmy Collins. He went on to manage Pats in the 2 finals. We did win in 59 and 61. 1967 is an interesting one, Jamie, because the first ever televised FAI Cup final. So there was a lot of talk about RTE televising finals. The FAI weren't too keen on it because they felt it would affect the crowd, and it did. There was only 12,000, I think, at this. It was really low attendance for the time. One of the things that I find interesting in that is that the 2 people who were promoting it most in the FAI were the club officials from Shamrock Rovers and St. Pat's, and they led the teams out on the day. So it was Des Cunningham at Rovers and Bart Cummins at Pat's. The club officials led the teams out into the ground into Dalymount Park that day. You normally see the managers do it in the FA Cup final in England, so it was club officials, and they took some stick for doing that. The players got 50 shillings TV appearance money that day, but unfortunately, Pats were beaten 3-2 on the day. That was a difficult loss for them. And 1974, we had a great player manager, Jack Burkett. He'd won an FA Cup with West Ham. He'd won a European Cup Winners' Cup with West Ham, but he wasn't able to get Pats over the line in 74. And then 1980, which again, there will be people who are listening to this who were at the final, particularly in 1980. Charlie Walker was the manager at the time. And Pats wore green in that final, which I think people would be interested in terms of, we very rarely have worn green. We wore it as an away kit around 2003, but I think the only other time we've worn green was that cup final. We also had a sponsor, which was completely unique at the time. No other teams ever really had sponsors in those days. Venture was written across the players' chests. I think it was just a special deal for the final. So look, we had those bad times, and I was at, and certainly your even younger listeners may have been at the finals from 96 on. 96 was a killer because it went to a replay. We should have won the first game, but Chelsea got a man sent off, their goalkeeper sent off in that game. We couldn't seal the deal and we lost the replay. And the 2003, 2006 and 2012 were all unfortunate in their own ways, and particularly 06, which people was voted supposedly the best cup final ever. We were ahead 3 times and lost 4-3 after extra time. Look, there's been a lot of heartbreak, and it's only football. At the end of the day, it is only a game. But as fans, we were very, very disappointed and felt that pressure as much as sometimes as players did going into those games. But look, it makes it all the sweeter when things like 2014 happen, and it makes it all the sweeter when you can go and have that success and have those memories. So hopefully this is a final that's going to be like the ones we won in 59, 61 and 2014.
Yeah, that 2006 one as well, the last ever game at the old Lansdowne Road as well. And if you want some more on any of those games and all the games as well, at History St. Pat's on Twitter is where Dermot's at, and I'm sure he'll be tweeting to his heart's content this week with all cup final related stats. But we are going to focus on the 3 wins. The first of those was, well, I suppose the first 2 are both at Dalymount Park. First one went to a replay in 1959-60.
Yeah, 1958-59 it was.
Sorry, 58-59,
yeah, because they used to obviously run it over the 2 years then, but we call it kind of the 1959 final. And there's a brilliant video. I think you may have heard the audio from it doing the rounds on YouTube, and I put it up on the History St. Pat's Twitter again. So this is one of the very few early pieces of footage. We had the FAI Cup final replay in 1959. So look, that was a Pats team that was managed, as I said, by Jimmy Collins, who had previously been the goalkeeper for the club. The goalkeeper at the time was Denny Lowry, the great Denny Lowry, who played in the finals in 59 and 61 and indeed 67 as well. Denny Lowry had pretty much lost his place in the Pats team. He had signed for Pats earlier in the 50s. And people thought Denny was probably going to be past it. John Heavey had replaced him in goal, but John Heavey had a bizarre accident, seemingly out playing football on the street. This is a professional goalkeeper, certainly semi-professional goalkeeper. I think he was playing football on the street, hurt himself, and then he got the call after dinner one Sunday, as they used to call it, come back and play for Pats, and kept his place when he came back in. So he was part of those two cup winning teams. The 59 final and the 61 final were both captained by the great Tommy Dunn. Now, Tommy Dunn himself, his dad had played for Rovers. I think he'd been an Irish international, Jimmy Dunn. And Tommy was a mascot in the final in 1940 and was part of that match day. And then to go on and lift the cup as captain in 59 and 61. One of only two people to lift the cup for St. Pat's as captain. His brother Jimmy also played in that 59 final. And there were 22,000 people at both the games, both the first game and the replay, and Pats went on, to a great success. And I think that was really heavily celebrated in Inchicore. It was really still part of that golden era when Pats had joined the league.
Yeah, the audio, if you've heard it, is brilliant. But if you can watch the video, it's even better. Even the style of commentary and just everything about it is really, really brilliant, and a nice thing for, I think, for maybe some younger supporters. I would, include myself in that to watch. And maybe for some of the players that were Stephen and Alan, just to watch it back, it's a real unique, great watch. And that was the first of success. That the second came quite quickly, just a couple of years later at the same venue.
Yeah, that's right. So playing against Drumcondra, who had beaten us in 54. So it's a little bit of a revenge story. And Drumcondra were actually 1-0 up, and then Pat scored a very bizarre goal. I've written about it in the programme this year. It was Johnny White just floated in the ball from the halfway line. And the Drumcondra keeper just, took his eye off the ball, lost sight of it, just tuned off, and it just floated in over his head into the net. And Willie Payton, who had scored the winner in 59, also scored a winner in 61 to win it 2-1 for Pats. And again, a good crowd at Dalymount at the time, 22,000. And the fans who were there on that day, I'm sure they couldn't believe that it would be 53 years more before Pats would win it again. But there were a small select few who were at those two finals and who were there in 2014 as well.
So 2014, and the footage, which again we'll play a snippet of in a moment, of the end of the match and the Christy Fagan second goal in the 94th minute. But that final and the fact that St. Pat's had lost to Derry in the 2012 decider, which would have ended a 51-year wait, it became 53 years. And I remember I wasn't with St. Pat's at the time. I was working in the media and covered the media day and covered the match, and the build up and the excitement, but also I think the pressure on the St. Pat's lads at the time to end that wait and stuff, I think was very plain to see. What comes to mind from your own thoughts on that final, the game, the victory, and the 53-year wait eventually ending?
Yeah, I think you're right when you say the pressure was immense going into that final. And look, players aren't always aware of the history, and I think Killian Brennan playing that final didn't know until he was in the dressing room that there'd been a 53-year wait for the cup, and so many defeats, and the hoodoo being on the club. But I think some of the players certainly felt it in those finals, and particularly in the finals from the 2000s on, when this was talked about an awful lot. Our own memories are again, as fans, are of relief and of joy and of pride, because we were very proud of that team. They had won the league for us the previous year, and they went on to win that cup in 2014. And look, Christy Fagan goes down in Pat's history as an absolute legend for lots of reasons. He was brilliant the previous season. He was brilliant after that, in fact. But the 2014 final, we will always remember him and his work for that. But we'd had a superb team in 2014. I think we were a little bit underachieving in the league in 2014 in terms of the players we had, particularly the midfield and the attacking strength we had that season. So we were able to win something. I think if you ask some Pats fans, including myself, we would almost prefer to have won the cup. It sounds crazy. It doesn't make sense. And people in other leagues and other countries, or even of other clubs in Ireland, wouldn't get this, that to win the cup was possibly more special as a fan than winning the league. I'm sure as a player it means more to win the league, of course. But the cup is massive in Ireland. It's still a huge thing. You can see with the crowd that look like they're going to be coming on Sunday. Our cup hasn't gone out of fashion in the way that the FA Cup has in England. It is still a massive day, a massive occasion. And look, it is for the players and for their families and for the management, but it's also a massive occasion for the fans. And historically always has been. That cup final day is a big day out for your family and with your friends and so on, and the activities that go on around it. So this is great to get there, and well done to Stevie and the boys for getting this far. But I've no doubt that they're going to achieve well on Sunday. And that pressure is off them, right? So no one's really talking about 7 years since the last final. No one really cares about that. So there isn't that weight of history upon them. But as Liam Buckley used to say, we make our own history. This team already, by coming second this season, playing some brilliant football, has made its own history. That's a brilliant achievement for the club to finish second, to come from where we had been. And I think they can go on and make a bit more history of their own this Sunday.